Emilia Frances Lady Dilke was a British writer, feminist activist and trade unionist. Born in 1840 in North Devon as the daughter of Henry Strong and Emily Wheadon Strong, raised in Iffley, she attended the South Kensington Art School. She was married to Mark Pattison, Anglican priest and writer focusing mainly on religious matters and figures relating to religion, and also rector of Lincoln College between 1861 and his death in 1884. Following his death, she then married radical politician Sir Charles Dilke, whose political career had been ruined following a divorce scandal in 1885. She contributed to journals and newspapers, including the Saturday Review, the Universal Review, Fortnightly Review, as well as French magazines such as L'Art or L'Œuvre d'Art. She died in 1904. The Shrine of Death and Other Stories was the first book of fiction Dilke wrote, following such works as French Furniture and Decoration in the 18th Century or French Engravers and Draftsmen of the 18th Century. In The Shrine of Love and Other Tales, a later collection, Dilke said each of the stories in the present volume is a record of the essential facts of some situation which I have known in real life. The Shrine of Death, the first story, is that of an outcast woman who begs a passing witch to tell her how to acquire all the secrets of life, and she obliges her. All the girl has to do is to marry Death, and she goes off to a tomb to do just that. The Silver Cage begins with a devil flying through the air. Getting tired, he lights on the roof of a house. A beautiful woman sits there singing in the garden. He wants to possess her soul, so he decides to come every day and knock at the door and try to corrupt her ideals until she eventually opens the door. The physician's wife has a renowned scientist take a woman for a wife without her having much to say on the matter, taking her further to his lair in the mountains. He abuses and mistreats her, and she in turn ends up in the arms of one of his assistants. The story continues with a chronicle of betrayal, despair and bitterness until the very end, with no silver lining I could possibly detect. A Vision of Learning is a lengthy parable of the sufferings of a youth on his quest to find learning in the citadel where he dwells, becoming violent and finding for himself a very horrid end. The Black Veil tells the story of a woman from Norway who kills her husband. She buys a veil for herself to pretend she is in mourning, but the veil grows longer and heavier, before the story ends in a grisly manner very reminiscent of Poe. The Crimson Scarf is the tragic story of a woman during Moorish rule in Spain. Given over to an infamous Moorish warlord whose mistress she becomes, she eventually rejects her house and family, ends up being hated not only by her own people but by the Moors as well, right up until the end. The Secret gives us a youth whose curiosity leads him to the mountains, trying to pry the secret from the closed eyes of a snow maiden he had fallen in love with. The Serpent's Head is the gothic story of a family curse of insanity, with murder, dark castles, and the accursed waters of a hungry sea in plentiful abundance. Finally, The Voyage has a man leave the woman he loves to go on a long voyage over the sea, and recounts the foolishness of his promise of love.